Hi friends, it's Tony from TL Yarn Crafts here with another fun and free crochet pattern. The Carillon Shawl is a triangle shawl that is constructed side to side by steadily increasing on one side of the shawl only. We'll create a mesh fabric by using double crochet and chain stitches and have some fun playing with color. And finally, we'll finish the shawl off with a sweet picot border. Today, I'll share how I use 5 mini skeins to achieve this lovely lightweight wrap. While you're crocheting, I encourage you to follow along the blog post associated with this pattern. The blog post offers the full pattern, while my tutorial here will focus more on the techniques that I used. You can find the free pattern on TLYCblog.com or get a printable PDF version from tlyarncrafts.com. Links to both of these resources are in the description. The original version of the Carillon Shawl was made with the string quintet pack from Lorna's Laces in the colorway Marimba. The string quintet pack comes with 5 individual skeins that are about 107 yards each. The yarn is a fingering weight, which is perfect for a summer shawl, but you can easily adjust the yarn to whatever suits your fancy. This chart shows my recommendations for adjusting your hook size in this pattern depending on what yarn you plan to use. For today's tutorial, I'm using a DK weight yarn with a 6mm crochet hook. You will also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. We're going to start our Carillon Shawl with a magic ring. Sometimes it's called a magic loop, sometimes it's called a magic circle. All I know is that most people hate it, but once you get the process down, it is very easy and a great way to start things like shawls or anything that's worked starting in the round. So here's how I do my magic ring or magic circle. So I've got my end of my yarn here. I'm going to lay it from bottom to top over my hand. I'm going to wrap it around my first 2 fingers and bring it down through my last 2 fingers. I'm going to give myself a little bit of tension here, insert my hook under both lengths of yarn, and I'm going to pull up that loop. Giving myself a bit of tension here, I'm going to go under that first loop again and pull through. When I drop my fingers out, I've got a nice loop here for me to work into. So to do our Carillon Shawl, we're going to start with a chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then a double crochet into the ring. So just inserting my hook into the ring and completing a double crochet stitch. Now I'm going to pull my hook out. I'm going to grab the tail of my ring and pull tight. And this is going to be the base of our shawl. Please note that the starting chain 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1 throughout this pattern. So now for row 2, I'm going to start with a chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and turn my work. And now I'm going to find the 3rd chain of my starting chain 4. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to insert my hook in that 3rd chain and do a V-stitch, which is just a double crochet, a chain, and then a double crochet in the same stitch. So at the end of row 2, I have my turning chain here, and then I have my V-stitch, which is a double crochet, a chain, and a double crochet. And now we can move on to row 3. For row 3, we're going to start with a chain 4. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to double crochet in the first double crochet here. So right under both loops of that stitch. And now we're going to chain 1 and double crochet in the next double crochet. So right under both loops of that stitch. We're going to chain 1 and then double crochet in the 3rd chain of my turning chain, which is right here. Just a double crochet under both loops of that chain. And this is what we've got after row 3. So row 4 starts with a chain 4, turn our work, and we're going to double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the following double crochet, chain 1, and then we're going to V-stitch in the 3rd chain of the starting chain 4 here, so of this turning chain. So we've got 1, 2, 3 chains, and a V-stitch goes into there. Remember, that's a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet. So you can see that we're always increasing on this side of our shawl, and that's what's going to make our shawl continue to grow as we continue in the pattern. So we're never increasing on this side, always only increasing on this side. So actually this side of the shawl is actually the part of the shawl that touches your neck, and then this would be the point that would face downward. So now we can go on to row 5. So we start with a chain 4 and turn our work. we're going to double crochet into our first double crochet, and that is what gives us our increase. So we continue increasing on this side, and then we're just going to chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to repeat that across. So chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, and then the last double crochet goes into the third chain of the turning chain. So we find our third chain, and we're just going to enter under that third chain with a double crochet. And that's row 5. So now for row 6, 1, 2, 3, and 4 chains, turn, and we're going to double crochet in the next stitch, and then chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch until we get to the turning chain. So chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch. Now we're at our turning chain, so we're going to chain 1 and V-stitch in the third chain of our turning chain, just like we've been doing before. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And that's what we've got after row 6. So you can see that really pretty mesh stitch already starting to show up here. And now for row 7, 1, 2, 3, 4 chains to start. And we're going to double crochet in this first stitch. And now we're going to chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch all the way across till we get to our turning chain. So just chain, double crochet in the next double crochet, chain, double crochet in the next double crochet, chain, double crochet in the next double crochet, chain, and then the last double crochet goes into the third chain of our turning chain, which is right here. So to continue on with the body of our shawl, we're going to repeat rows 6 and 7. Now, if you're making this using the original string quintet pack like I did, you're going to see in the pattern that it'll tell you exactly how many rows of each color to do. So if this is your first color, you would do 31 total rows with this color. In the next color that you would go up to row 49, so on and so forth. So you would repeat that, and I'm going to go off camera, do a couple more rows in different colors, and then we can move on to the border. When you finish the body of your shawl, you should have something that looks a bit like this. So we continued increasing on this side. So if we kind of look at it like this, it might be a little easier to see. So this is where we started, and we continued increasing on this side, and we did no increases on this side. So we've got a nice right triangle here, but after you block it and it's got some really good drape, it'll wrap around your neck very nicely. So I'm just finishing up the last stitch that I have here. So I've got my chain, I've got a double crochet that's going in there, and now I need to change colors to start my border. So I'm actually going to clip this color, and I'm going to work with this cream color for my border. Get this out the way. Here we go. So I'm just going to yarn over with my cream color to make the switch. So now for my border, I'll start with a chain 1, and I'm turning my work to continue working along this row. So I did my chain 1 here, and I'm going to single crochet in that first stitch, chain 1, and single crochet again in that same first stitch. So now I want to chain 1 and single crochet in the next double crochet. So there's my chain, single crochet in the next double crochet, and I'm going to do that across. Chain, single in the next double, chain, single in the next double. And that gives us a nice contrasting border along the bottom of our work here. So we're going to do this until we get to our corner. So it's just a chain, single crochet in the next double crochet, chain, single in the next double crochet. Just basic stitches here. We're going to do this until we get to our turning chain, which is right here. So I've got a chain, and now in my turning chain, I'm going to single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet again. So I'll find my third chain, single crochet in there, chain 2, and single crochet again in that chain. Now I'm going to rotate my work to begin working along the row ends here. So the rest of my border for row 1 is going to be worked into my row ends. It's going to be very important as I work along this border to keep nice loose tension so my project doesn't tighten up on me too much. So I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet in the row end. So right around this post. Remember, I'm keeping nice loose tension. Chain 1, single crochet around the post of the next row, chain 1, single crochet around the post of the next row, and chain 1. The reason why it's so important for me to keep loose tension here is that I don't want my project to start puckering on me because these stitches are too tight together. So chain 1, single crochet in the post of the next row, chain 1 in the post of the next row. And we're going to do that all the way across, maintaining that nice loose tension across the row. And we're going to do that until we get to the last row, which is actually row 1 of the body of the shawl. So we're going to chain 1 here, but instead of working around the post, we're actually just going to go into kind of the base of this stitch, kind of where our magic ring was. And that's where our last single crochet goes for the first row of our border. So this is what we have. Looks pretty good so far, but we're going to make it a little bit prettier. So now for the last row of our border, we're going to start with the chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to single crochet into that first single crochet there. There we go. And now we're going to do a picot. So the picot is just a chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then slip stitch in the first chain of that chain 3 that we made. And that's our picot. And now we're going to single crochet into the chain space. And that's what we're going to do across. So single crochet into the single crochet, do a picot, chain 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the first chain, and then single crochet into the chain space. We'll do that again together. I'm going to tighten in so you can see real well what I'm doing. So I'm going to single crochet into the next single crochet stitch, and then I'm going to follow that with a picot, chain 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the first chain, and then single crochet into the chain space. And again, we're going to single crochet into the single crochet stitch, do a picot, 1, 2, 3 chains, and slip stitch into the first of those 3 chains. So we're going to do that all the way across until we get to our corner down here. So keep working on that and meet me when you get down to your corner. So I've repeated my picot border all the way down the line, and now I'm here at my corner. So remember, our corner was a single crochet, a chain 2 space, and a single crochet. So I just placed a single crochet in the chain space before the single crochet that's in our border. So now I'm going to single crochet in the next single crochet. I'm going to do my picot, 1, 2, 3 chains. And then I'm going to just place a slip stitch in that chain 2 space. And that's it for our shawl. You'll just want to cut that in and weave in all the ends of your shawl. I'm going to kind of zoom out a little bit so you can see what all we have here. So this is our completed shawl. And once you're all done, you'll just want to weave in these last ends here, and then you can block it however you want to. If you have an iron, you might just want to steam block it. If you have a steamer, you can do that as well. Or you might choose to wet block it. Just dip it in some warm water, towel dry it as much as you can, and then lay it flat so it has nice clean edges. But once you're all done, you'll be ready to take some pictures and share your projects with me on Instagram with the hashtag Carillon Shawl, and be sure to tag me at TL Yarn Crafts. Thanks so much for making this project with me, and I'll see you next time.